The following podcast contains alcohol-enhanced conversations about alcohol, as well as a potential for discussions about topics of dubious, disturbing, possibly offensive, but usually hilarious interest. The opinions stated herein are solely of the persons making them, and any endorsement of these opinions by any other party is not implied. Foul language is likely, but intolerant viewpoints are not. Listener intoxication is advised. Hello and welcome to episode 67 of the Knee Glass sponsored Whiskey Tangent podcast. I'm Scott.
I'm Ed.
And today we're doubling down on last month's episode and doing another deep distillery dive, our dozenth, more or less. This time we're featuring a company whose whiskeys we tried only once on the podcast way back in season 2, Colorado-based Breckenridge. And joining us on our whiskey-soaked virtual hike up the Rocky Mountains, no, not Sherpa Gabe, who is currently leading a group of Pineys up Mount Holly. Hashtag Jersey joke. Instead, we have in studio for the first time this year, the whiskey power couple themselves, Party Marty.
Hey, how's it going?
And Rachel, the first of her name, Khaleesi of the Artichoke Gardens, breaker of hearts, and queen of cookies.
Oh my God.
Hashtag Whiskey Geisha.
Hashtag Whiskey Geisha.
I am overwhelmed, yes.
And of course, Ed has already hunkered down at base camp, ready to bust out the bountiful bevy of brilliantly blended Breckenridge bourbons that will be tossing back tonight.
Thanks, Scott. Well, Breckenridge, the one thing that we did notice about them is their whiskeys tend to be a little bit lower proof as a group, which is very beneficial to us because we have 4 to try tonight.
Yeah. They're a little young as well.
Right, they're a little young.
Yeah.
Right, you can get in trouble if they're too young.
Yeah.
Scott's going to take us through a little history of the Breckenridge Distillery. They're very interesting. We're going to taste their reserve bourbon, which is an 86 proof expression. Then we're going to taste their high proof bourbon, which is 105, which you high proofers out there know 105 is not,
it's not really
traditionally
that
a high proof bourbon, but that's what it is to them.
Maybe they were high when they made it.
We're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back and hear Marty and Rachel's whiskey origin stories, how they got started into whiskey.
We never did that with them. No, because you've been on cocktail episodes and the Japanese episode.
Right.
Okay.
And then we're going to taste a Madeira Cask bourbon, which we've tasted once before the tasting together, but never on air. And then, of course, the Pedro
Jimenez
Sherry Cask bourbon, and so they're 92 proof and 90 proof respectively.
Right.
So it should be a really interesting dive into a up-and-coming distillery that's been doing great things for a long time. So Scott, take us through the history of these high mountain living, bourbon making, Sherpa loving distillers.
All right, I will do that. Well, Ed was late to it, so he didn't actually join the tasting, but he tasted them after the tasting. This is the privileges that you get when Anders is your friend.
Right.
But me, Marty, and Rachel went to a Breckenridge tasting at the lounge, and we tasted 2 of these expressions, 2 others, and we have 2 new ones. I don't even remember what they tasted like, frankly. It was
been a while.
A month and a half ago or something.
Yep.
We've tasted so much whiskey since then, as we do.
All right, so this history, like their bourbons, is a blend of 2 different articles, one by Maggie Kimbrell for American Whiskey Magazine, and the other by Jackie Gutierrez-Jones for Flaviar, with some additions of my own. So here we go.
The running joke at the Breckenridge Distillery is that they're all really high. Not that kind of high, but you'd be forgiven for thinking it because, after all, they are based in Colorado, where recreational marijuana was first legalized in the United States. But really, they mean their altitude because the Breckenridge Distillery sits at an elevation of 9,600 feet in the middle of the Rocky Mountains, which makes it quite literally the world's highest distillery. And for that location, you can thank Brian Nolt, Breckenridge's founder and CEO, who, by the way, is also a doctor, working 1 week a month as a radiologist when he's not making what they feel are some of the finest craft spirits in America. But we're getting ahead of ourselves, because how exactly does a doctor get the idea to start a distillery? Well, imagine you're fly fishing with your friends in a crisp mountainside river. You've just returned from Scotland, and the memories of the distillery are still fresh in your mind, but the reality of returning to your day job is depressingly setting in. Then suddenly, off in the distance, an opera singer begins a melody, her voice echoing off the hard surfaces of the quiet mountain peaks, perfectly audible over the sound of the babbling snowmelt in which you are standing. And that's when it hits you. This is the spot where you should open a whiskey distillery. Or at least that's the story Brian tells. The year was 2008, and his whiskey journey actually began on that trip to Scotland after he tasted one scotch in particular. When I was in Scotland, Brian says, I had Signet from Glenmorangie, and I loved it.
So did I.
Yes, and they broke every sacred law of barley because they caramelized some of it. The first time I had it, the light went off like, holy shit. I wanted to experiment with different levels of burning the sugars for flavor. You see, caramelization of barley requires heating it to a temperature as high as 220 degrees Fahrenheit, which breaks down all the starches and converts into sugar. The result is usually referred to as caramel malt or crystal malt, not crystal meth.
I was going to say, wait, crystal meth.
I'm in.
Yeah, last time I drank Breckenridge, I was up for 2 days.
And so it was that he came home from that trip, studied what he liked and how he could make it, and he's worked hard ever since to address the challenges specific to distilling and aging at high altitude. Says Brian, our distillery's altitude makes everything here a pain in the ass. Breathing, sleeping, and getting trucks up here in the winter is hard. So it's a challenge, but we get awesome water, which has an intense concentration of minerals in it and no iron, so it tastes delicious. But it takes more than just quality ingredients to make a whiskey stand out from the craft distilling crowd. When they started, they would make just 1 barrel a day, but now they can make over 20 a day of bourbon, with the same setup that Maker's Mark used to have, a 40-foot column still with a doubler, a 10,000-gallon mash tank, and a 10,000-gallon fermentation tank. But one of the most notable things at the distillery is art. There's art in the bar, art in the barrel room, and even art in the bathrooms. So it's fitting that the art of blending paint and the art of blending whiskey both achieve similar results, something that evokes certain feelings in the end consumer. I guess in some ways it's philosophical, Brian says. Being a doctor changed me in a lot of ways for the better. When I was young, I was always super ambitious, but once I got into medicine, I was no longer a fiery entrepreneur. You're trying to figure out how to take care of people in the best way possible. You don't look at things from a business perspective because business is about making money and taking care of people is not. Isn't it, though? I mean, it's America. Healthcare.
Well,
American healthcare. Fuck yeah.
It's a nice attitude to have, though. I give him credit for that.
Yeah. Anyway, now Brian does both, doctoring and whiskeying, and says that for him, it's about exploring ways to make people better and happier while also asking yourself what makes you better and happier. Well, apparently it's making whiskey and a lot of it. Today, Breckenridge, 2-time winner of Distillery of the Year and official bourbon of the Denver Broncos, employs 90 people that annually create 75,000 cases of a wide range of spirits, a gin, a spiced rum, 2 liqueurs, 3 hard seltzers, 4 vodkas, and 16 whiskeys, all of which collectively have won hundreds of awards, including gold, platinum, and double platinum medals at this year's Ascots and 4 double golds at this year's San Francisco World Spirits Competition.
Did find it intriguing about the snow melt water that they use. And I'm wondering why it has so much of a mineral content. Do you know that?
Just from the mountains, apparently. Yeah.
From running down the mountains after it melts.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So filtration, but picks up stuff on the way.
Right.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there was another thing in there where they said they have to be careful sometimes because it has a lot of particulate matter in the water itself that they have to be careful to filter out.
Sure.
Otherwise it'll get into whiskey.
Yeah, like grizzly bear poop and stuff like that. Yeah, sure.
Scat. Yeah, you don't want that.
Right.
Scat, tap, tap, you got tap, tap, tap.
No, not like Cab Calloway scat. Well, way back in season 2, we had tried the Breckenridge port finish against the Angel Envy port finish.
Yes.
And we thought it was going to be quite the underdog because Angel Envy was such a behemoth.
So
and
one of the original ones, yeah.
Everyone loves it.
And we like the Breckenridge better.
We liked the Breckenridge better, and it was our first real eye-opening moment for that. So in our glasses, we have their, what do they call it again?
The Breckenridge Reserve Bourbon.
Right, Reserve Bourbon. So it sounds really fancy, which is, I love that, you know, like, oh my God, like Marty's our reserve guest.
Fancy. I got my pinky out.
Oh, look at that. Very nice. So this is 86 proof. It's aged at least 3 years. So the mash bill's not disclosed, but it's a blend of Kentucky sourced, Tennessee, and their own 56% corn, 38% rye, 6% malted barley. The price, Ed, do you remember what we bought this for?
45 maybe.
Yeah, something like that. Which is a good price.
Very affordable.
Yeah, I think the MSRP is around 50 something.
Yeah.
And I have the tasting notes from Breaking Bourbon and start nosing it.
You know, like 1,000 questions about this
Okay.
because what was the elevation? 9,000?
9,600.
So that's a little under 2 miles, right? Like
Just 2 miles, yep.
yeah. So the boiling point's different. I guess it's distilled there. Is it also stored there? Why it's aging? Or
their stuff
Yeah.
is. Then they blend. Is the blend stuff stored there and aged?
That I don't know. Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, evaporation's probably different. I mean, I keep thinking about all the different things that could happen at a
at that high elevation.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, he said it was a pain in the ass.
I
He didn't really
bet,
elaborate
yeah,
in the 2 articles that I kind of combined to create this.
I mean, the angel share is like they're right there, right? Like
Yeah.
the angels are sitting there waiting for it. They don't even have to come down for any. So,
Right, but it's not really hot. So the reality is it should evaporate much slower.
that's true, though. Yep, yep.
Maybe that's why.
But the air is less dense, right? So maybe it's easier to evaporate.
I don't know.
Well, it's
don't
easier
know.
to boil, right? I mean, boil
Yeah.
temperature is a lot less. So,
Right.
yeah, a lot of factors.
The nose is weird for me.
It is weird. It's very young. You can smell the youthfulness of it.
It's very youthful. I get a little vinyl on the nose.
Yeah. There's some fruit in there, but sugary, caramely.
Cotton candy in a way.
Yeah.
Minerals.
Right. I wouldn't say it's pleasant nose, but it's not a bad nose.
I think it's very pleasant, in my opinion. I mean, it's sweet to my nose. I don't know. The finish.
I mean, it seems
thin. Yeah, but it seems like it's aged enough.
I think it's important to note that we just on a previous recording drank 115 proof whiskey.
Yeah.
So we had just had a 115 whiskey. We took a little break. We came back on to record this episode, and it's an 86 proof. And I don't know. We're doing a lot of favors.
That's true. Right. So we do have to maybe temper down our expectations because these are, as we said, lower proof whiskeys and youthful.
And the whiskey that we tried was close to $80, and this is $45. So, like, if somebody didn't have a lot of experience with bourbons, I think this would be a nice starter bourbon.
Yeah, taste wise, it's 100% different.
Are you guys tasting it already?
Yeah.
Ed's literally done.
He's not good though. It's really good.
I didn't even take a sip yet.
12 seconds later.
Oh, interesting. That's an interesting flavor. It is very thin, but I got like a little cola note on it.
Flat ginger ale, something like that,
Yeah, like a flat soda.
Yeah, it's weird. It's not bad. It's just rather youthful, and that's why we got 4. Breckenridge, calm down. We're going to give you a fair shake. We're not saying it's bad.
I like it. I really do.
I like it too.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. But you're right. It's young. Not a lot going on, but
it doesn't have a big
pleasant
finish. It has a very, very medium finish for me, short to medium.
Oh, yeah.
But the palate is very nice and strong. I'm getting some apple now.
Okay.
I'm getting almost like a little bit of a caramel apple, some sugar, maybe a little burnt sugar. I'm definitely getting some type of a leather, menthol, or vinyl on the finish.
Yeah.
It's definitely a unique finish to it.
Green apple, honey syrup, and I think what I'm thinking is mineral. I think is probably what
right. I can't come up with what I'm tasting on the finish. It's something that's herbaceous, though.
The finish is very spicy to me.
Yeah, it is.
It's not very long, as you said. I get a nice, not caramel on the finish because the caramel's in there, but a nice, like, simple syrup sweetness on it, a little bit of corn. There's a tiny bit of oak and a little, I don't know, cinnamon or something. There's a spice
You're not getting
there.
any leather or any menthol or any, because I'm getting something like that, but it's more like menthol.
Yeah.
And she's getting mineral, so I feel like we're somewhere in there.
Yeah. You were getting the minerals on the nose, too.
Yeah. You said simple syrup. I was thinking honey syrup. So same kind of thing, like a coating mouthfeel.
I might be getting chlorine or barium. I'm not sure which mineral, which periodic table mineral I'm going to do. I got to break up the periodic table and see what I'm tasting.
I'm getting
here.
cadmium. What are you getting?
My God, I'm tasting radon. Aren't you tasting radon?
So let's do the tasting notes from Breaking Bourbon. On the nose, pleasing with a no-nonsense burst of butterscotch, vanilla, apple, and cherry.
Yeah, bang. We're right there.
Yeah. On the palate, one half of the palate leans heavily on caramel, with the other leaning on green youthfulness.
Or green apple. So go ahead.
On the finish, finishes with mild oak intensity that downplays its youthful side and balances its overall sweetness, but with a hard-to-ignore bit of ethanol punchiness.
Boom. All right. So he's saying alcohol, but I'm thinking that
we all tasted there was something there.
Yeah,
he's saying alcohol.
He's saying ethanol. I think it was more of a menthol-y, but that's okay. That's fine.
We got menthol, we got minerals, whatever.
We got a unique thing.
Whatever the hell I said.
I said radon.
I said cadmium. That's right.
My God, you can really taste the X-rays on this.
The Rontgens.
The gamma rays.
Did you see Oppenheimer?
No.
No, I
just
haven't seen
checking.
it. No.
Yeah.
No. I do want to see it, though.
I haven't seen it
Yeah,
yet.
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw Barbie instead.
I'm a Barbie guy in a Barbie sky. It's just made of plastic. It's just fantastic.
Crickets and stop. Yeah, so the second one, high proof. This is basically the same thing as what we just tasted, just higher proof.
So it's got a little bit less of that snow melt water in it. And 105 is what I like to consider my sweet spot of drinking whiskey. I feel like they made this one just for me, and I'm really going to take some time to give it some tender love and attention.
Price of this was 55?
Was any of them over 60?
No.
Really? Right.
They were all under 55. The Pedro Menes and this might have been the same price.
Yeah,
Around
55. I think it was 45, 50, 55. They were right there, and they were very similar to Michter's, where everything was kind of like in the same price range.
Yeah, so this one won double gold this year at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition and platinum at the Ascots.
Okay, I think I actually could pick something out. Twizzler, man. Cherry Twizzler.
Twizzlers, really?
It's just like, it reminds me of that. Yeah, that
Oh, yeah.
smell.
It's on the nose? Okay.
I can absolutely smell that.
Marty loves
Man, this is the ethanol in this, man. Even the neat glass, I feel like I just kind of burned my nose a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. What I would have said instead of cherry Twizzler would be Swedish Fish.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's kind of the scent. It's like
definitely.
just an intense, very particular scent of sweetness.
And what's funny is, you know how the licorice and the Swedish Fish, they also have a little bit of a plastic smell to them?
A little bit, yeah.
Like, I feel like that's the same thing I'm smelling that I got off the other one, like that.
Yeah.
Almost like candy wrapped in plastic, if that makes any sense.
Different.
Not unpleasant, though, right?
No,
not at all.
Not at all.
How different is this, though, than the other one?
Oh, very different.
It's 17 or whatever proof points.
Noticeably spicier, hotter on the nose.
18, 16?
Yeah.
What is it? I can't do math.
It's
19.
14 and 5, 19.
I tasted it. Damn it. I was still on the nose. Ed was influencing me. I saw him drink it, and then I started drinking it.
I'm getting really strong vanilla notes and caramel on the first half of the palate.
Of the sip? Yeah. Again, it's youthful. It's aged around 3 years, at least 3 years. I get kind of like that corn whiskey youthfulness of it. Maybe even more than on the 86 proof one.
I'm beginning to wonder that they do age all the MGP stuff themselves, because you can buy MGP stuff whatever age you want.
Yeah.
Why make your shit 3 years unless you're buying it all new and then aging it yourself in barrels? So, I mean, you can save money, I guess. Maybe that's why it's $45 and $50, but I don't know.
Yeah, see, the problem with the non-disclosed mash bill is you don't know what the age is of the component parts. They say aged at least 3 years, so that means probably their own is the one that's 3 years and the others are higher, but they're not really saying what they are.
Right, sure. Finish, anybody?
I didn't taste it yet.
Oh, goddamn it.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, it seems a lot stronger on the back end. I just, feeling it.
So where I got kind of the cola flavor on the last one, I got root beer on this one. And we get kind of like a sassafras kind of ish.
I just added some water to it. Now I can smell that a little bit too. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like almost like a cedary kind of thing.
Yes, I'm tasting that whole sarsaparilla thing you got going on there.
I like this a lot better than the other one.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is much better.
I'm not getting anything on the nose. When I taste it, I think it tastes great, but just when I smell it, I'm still...
Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, decent nose, great palate. Finish is strong compared to the other one, but I'm getting a slight off-putting aftertaste.
Yeah. Yep.
This is what I kind of tasted in the other one, whether it's menthol or something. It's like a little sour.
There's some bitterness or something going on back there.
I don't know what it is. That, Marty? Like
I do.
Right now, it's burning in my throat and chest from the heat, and in my mouth is this little bit of a weird flavor. Almost like you ate like a piece of basil or mint right from the plant. It's good, but you're getting too strong of a whiff of it.
Strong vegetal quality to it. That's
it's really, I can't put my...
Is it the same one as the one on the previous one, or a little different, a little stronger?
It's stronger. Okay. It's stronger, so I think the proof enhanced it.
Did you add water?
Oh, shit.
No, I didn't.
So I'm going to add
the water. I felt like it really brought out the sweetness,
Okay.
and I thought it softened the
I added
air. You always do.
I added air to the glass when it was empty.
I didn't think to add water to the first one, but that was 86 proof. I don't think it was probably going to help it. But this one, since it's 105, could take a couple drops.
You're going to
give
pour
it
a little more and see what happens.
Pour a little more. We got plenty. We have full bottles of these. We're going good.
We're going to be drinking Breckenridge for the next 4 days.
Oh, yeah. It is sweeter. I think maybe that weirdness is gone off the finish.
I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what Ed says.
We'll see.
Because I think he tasted it the strongest.
So. I still taste it too? The back end. Yeah, there's something. Yeah. But again, I think the water does sweeten it up a little bit.
I feel it definitely diffused the weird taste on the finish for me.
Yeah.
I can still taste
still
it.
There.
But it's more now like a tasty note instead of a problem.
I see.
You know, like if you get one red hot pepper flake compared to 10.
Yeah.
Like one.
Sure.
You're like, oh, that's kind of good. 10, it's like, all I'm really tasting is red hot pepper flakes.
It's like garlic too.
Right.
Like garlic. Oh, a nice hint of garlic, but like you put too much garlic and that's all you can taste.
I have to tell you, my friend Mike down the shore, we've all agreed with this. In our 30s, we loved as much garlic as you could put on the damn plate. But about 10 years ago, I was like, enough with the garlic. Like strong garlic ruins everything for me now. Like it has to be just the right amount.
No, I disagree. More garlic, the better. It hurts me more now. That's the problem.
Oh, wow.
Get a little, heartburn now, but I know what you mean.
Well, thanks everybody for turning in to the podcast tonight. We'll be doing the second part as just me and Scott. Thanks so much for coming by. Rachel smacking me, stacking me.
I like the Asian black garlic. It's like fermented and aged, and
you never go back.
You never go back.
You never go back
because it has like a sweetness to it, and that really pungent garlic flavor is much reduced. It's still there.
Yeah.
It's so good. Like crush that on a thing of Crostini. That is excellent.
That's why when you roast the garlic,
it's delicious.
The longer you roast
thing.
it, the less
Similar thing.
less pungent.
Right.
And it's,
one of my favorite pizza places in New Jersey is Conte's up in Princeton.
Oh my God!
And they got a thin crust pepperoni garlic, and they put the garlic chunks on top of the very top of the pizza, and they put it in the oven. And they roast the heck out of it, and it's very, very approachable. It's not bad at all. Maybe for my birthday this year.
And what's the best thing about the little pepperonis is that they're little grease cups.
Oh yeah,
they curl up.
Little grease
curl up.
Yeah, those are awesome.
All right, so we're all going there for my birthday.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm in.
Hey,
I'm so in.
I grow garlic in the garden.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, when you grow it yourself, I feel like it's sweeter.
It's
it's
better,
not been
much
sitting
better.
on the shelf.
Because you're getting it fresh right out of the ground.
I grate it on the microplane so you don't get any big chunks. Yeah.
Like Big Paulie and Goodfellas, you like slice it with a razor blade so it dissolves in the sauce.
So this whiskey, like as I drink it more and more as you guys were talking, there's so much rye spice on it to me. It's so spicy. Because we were talking about how sweet it is. But if you drink like a little sip of it and let it marinate in your mouth a little bit, the sweetness kind of dissipates and you get a nice spice. You know how I like rye spice.
Yeah, it's very spicy. It's very peppery.
So the tasting notes, again from Breaking Bourbon, on the nose, rye spice, sugar cookie, toffee with a touch of pine and winter fresh gum.
Ooh, so there's maybe the menthol. Maybe that's the menthol I was getting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. On the palate, a thick mouthfeel and enjoyable richness of vanilla and oak, capped off by a gentle hint of youthful grain. Again, with a youthful grain. The finish, long-lasting and flavorful with a robust heat that's surprisingly welcome for the proof, which does a nice job distracting you from the whiskey's overall simplicity. I mean, I think we liked it a little better than he liked it.
Yeah. I definitely get the pine menthol. Thank God somebody validated what I've been tasting this whole goddamn day.
The mint.
You know what I mean? It's like
pine and mint. Absolutely.
Right.
But I taste
to be clear, I would buy another bottle of this in a second and keep it in my bar. It's great to have. And I wonder, because of the price, you can still cocktail with this. I wonder, I think this would be an interesting old-fashioned for this.
I think the reserve, too.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
For the price point.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But
that with just a little bit of something, I mean, I think it would be great as a Manhattan.
Oh, really? Okay. It's a little light proof for me, but all right, Sally, no problem. Go ahead.
No, but the 105 too, but I would rather sip this than mix it. The other one,
you're in the majority where, like, once you get to 100 proof, you don't want to waste it.
No, not at all.
Anders is the one that's taking me to the dark side and made me a Booker's Manhattan one time that cost me like $25.
But when you do that, you need the best of everything then, right?
Right.
You
Best
can't
vermouth.
Right. Yes.
Well, here's a great idea for a cocktail episode that sort of riffs on what Rachel suggested about the vermouth that we did and that we're going to do with bitters. A third one might be make the same cocktail with two different whiskeys and see how that changes it. A low proof and a high proof.
All right. So would you do the Breckenridge 86 and the 105?
Sure.
And keep it in the family like that? Or would you do like completely different whiskeys?
Either.
Ether's just going to put us all to sleep, Scott.
I hate you so much right now.
For our locker at the local, we always have, let's get something for cocktails and let's get something for sipping. So we have kind of bifurcated the world of whiskeys. Like, these are the ones.
Ting with the word.
Can I look that up? What is that?
Wow, he just had a high vocabulary word.
Children.
Siri.
Bifurcated. BIFURCATED.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Bifurcated.
Oh my God, Scott just became a whole-schooled Indian kid.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Have we been missing out? And I think maybe we have.
Well, think about this. When Anders brought out the Whittle Pig 10-year bar pick that he had, it was 110 proof or something like that, right? He brought out the old-fashioned with that.
Yes.
That's establishing the climate of high-proof cocktails in that lounge. In our locker, we have Knob Creek Rye that we make cocktails with.
That's what
we have Sagamore Cask Strength that I've made a cocktail with. We have a bottle of the Whistle Pig 10-year 110 proof.
Yeah, we got some barrel in there too.
Yeah.
Like, we have some high proof stuff that we could make amazing cocktails
Absolutely. And so I personally think you need to be at least 90 for a cocktail because once you start putting in like sugar and vermouth, you start to like thin it out.
Yeah, because you kind of want to taste the spirit.
Yeah.
I will say on Marty's point, if it's an 86 one, I'm going to put an extra half ounce of whiskey in.
Yeah.
Well, and that's how I do.
Okay.
No, I put
He
less
triples it.
No.
Oh, no? Okay.
I put the less vermouth.
Just me?
in.
Okay.
Right.
I'm like a half a shot of vermouth.
Right. So if I'm making it right. So,
I see what you're saying.
So
You
if
put
I have
less of the other ingredients.
Right. If I have a 90 proof whiskey, it's 2 ounces of whiskey, an ounce of vermouth. If it's 86, it's 5 ounces of whiskey.
And a quarter ounce of vermouth.
I show the vermouth bottle to the glass.
You wave it over the glass.
I just take the bottle and I just drink straight from the bottle, and then I drink straight from the vermouth bottle, and then I go to bed.
Oh,
all right. Rachel, which one did you like best?
I like the higher proof.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
I think
Damn right. That's right, Rachel.
Yeah.
Domo arigato.
You can come back for the second half. All right, that's it. We'll take a break and we'll come back with the other two whiskeys that we have and Marty and Rachel's origin stories.
Yay. So we're back from a short break. We are blazing through this episode.
We are.
And so for the second round, what we're going to be indulging in is a couple of finished expressions that they have. A Madeira cask finish bourbon, that's 92 proof.
Yep.
And the Pedro
Jimenez
sherry cask bourbon finish of 90 proof. And so the first one will be Madeira. Now, we've had the Madeira before, but it was so long ago.
Well, yes, it was at the
Let's
tasting.
pretend it was long ago.
It was at the tasting.
Month and a half.
Yeah. Do you want to do the origin stories, or do you want to taste the whiskey and then do the origin?
No. Well, we have other stuff to do, too. So
We'll do an origin story. We'll taste one whiskey, do the other stuff,
and then
do the second whiskey.
I love that. Okay,
Right.
origin story. So, Rachel, when did you first drink whiskey?
I was 4 years old. I was in Japan.
No.
I was at an internship at the Suntory Distillery.
No,
That would have been amazing. Go ahead.
So you have to know that. So when Marty and I met in college, Marty was a bartender. I
Yes.
was a serious student who did not drink much. So Marty kind of brought me along. Brought me along the curve. But we would go out like after hours clubs or whatever, and he kind of got me into drinking some of the liqueurs to help settle your stomach.
Oh, really?
And Drambuie.
Okay.
So Drambuie was my gateway.
Right.
And
That's like scotch and spices and stuff.
honey,
honey
scotch.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Love that.
Right, it's a Scotch liqueur, right?
Yeah. And then we have a friend that likes Basil Hayden, and Marty and you and Bill used to always drink Jameson's. So it was Drambuie and then those two, and then branched out from there.
Okay.
Because none of my girlfriends
Were drinking anything
bourbon.
like that,
Yeah. So the husbands always were. So when the husbands were, then the wives would say, "Oh, don't forget Rachel likes it too, so pour her a little glass."
Itty bitty.
So yeah.
Nice.
I feel like Southern Comfort was that for all teenage boys, right? Like our first spirit with like sweet Southern Comfort, which is like a gateway into whiskey one day.
Right.
Yeah.
It's awful.
When you're 12, it isn't.
13, 14. Maybe.
13.
What's your feeling on Drambuie?
Honestly, I'm not actually sure that I've drank it straight. I've had like a rusty nail that has it in it,
It's great in cocktails.
but I don't think I've ever tasted it on its own.
Yeah.
It's like one of those liqueurs that it by itself is fantastic.
Yeah, I drank a half bottle of it on
It's
Tuesday.
perfect. It's like
with breakfast with eggs. It was amazing.
Yeah, because it's an old brand, like 1700s or 1600s
Oh,
or
yeah.
something
It's an old
crazy.
man's
Yeah.
drink. Yeah, I like an old man's drink.
Napoleon would drink it and smack a general.
Let's see who would.
All right, Marty, how about you? So Rachel's
God.
was because of you.
But wait, what was her first whiskey that she drank? Did she say?
It was either Jameson's or Basil Hayden.
Oh, okay.
One of the two.
Yeah.
Or both mixed together with Drambuie in a 3-cocktail nightmare that she barely remembered.
All she remembers is vomit.
No.
Anyway, go ahead, Marty.
All right. I'm trying to think here. Like, it's funny you say Southern because, Southern.
Yeah,
that
Southern
was,
Comfort, yeah.
Yeah, but that wasn't.
That doesn't really count. Sure.
I remember, and I don't know why I got into it, was I used to drink 7 and 7s.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, my God, that's so true.
Yeah.
And
Me too.
I always remember because I bartended for a bit and I knew bartenders, and every time I'd go in, the whole joke was give me a 7 and 7 and 7 and 7 and 7. But the other thing where I got into bourbon actually is my dad, he liked Wild Turkey, and he was Wild Turkey Manhattans. And I started drinking that with him and did the regular. We did the 101. And it's funny how like I love those back then. And then when you find a better bourbon, I'm not saying Wild Turkey's bad or anything, but
it is.
I tried different bourbon. I'm like, wow, these are even better. So
the 101s are great, but regular Wild Turkey,
It's rough.
it's a rough day at the bar.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, once in a while, I go back to try to get my dad to, what does he do? The big plastic jug of what, Evan Hill or... He pre-mixes his Manhattans now.
Okay.
But anyways, I don't go there, but he does.
He exclusively drinks Manhattans.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really like your dad.
Oh, he's a good guy.
I would love to one day, like, you remember Ed from the whiskey? Yeah, he just exclusively drinks Manhattans now. He just sits on his porch and he pre-batches them by the gallon.
That's
and
what he
sits
does.
There and,
That's basically what you do at the shore, Ed.
that's very true.
And he calls them Marty's Mellow Manhattans. He has a name
He's
for
famous for that.
so.
There's a local rextraurant that they go to, and the guy there loves it. So Marty will, Mr. Marty, Big Marty, drops off bottles
so you're
of
a
it. Yeah.
junior.
Well, no, middle name's different, so I'm not really
Oh,
junior.
okay. Gotcha. But his name is also Marty.
Well, he used to be Big Marty, and I was Little Marty, and then all of a sudden I was
And
Big
then you were
Marty.
Big Marty.
Yeah. So
What's his middle name?
his middle name's Steven, and I'm Thomas.
Oh, that's my middle name.
Yeah, I think we've gone there.
Brothers.
Yeah,
But
but
he,
we're brothers from another
You don't
mother.
know, but Marty and Scott are the two most similar people I've ever met that never knew each other. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
we do look alike. I was just telling my mom because my mom was saying how the podcast was going. I said, well, our friends Marty and Rachel from the lounge, they've been on a couple times. And it's like, Marty is like if I had an older brother.
Well,
And
ask
she
Big,
started
ask
laughing.
Big Marty. Maybe he knows your mom.
Yeah.
Hashtag half brothers.
No.
It would probably be the opposite. It's like my dad knows his mom.
Probably. Probably. Your dad's a dog.
Man.
Wow. On that note,
DNA.
All right, well, so yeah, I mean, that's great to get your origin stories because, like we said, this is your first American whiskey full-length episode. And now we've checked off that box.
Good.
Now we're going to check off another box and taste the Madeira finished Breckenridge.
I will say this. All of the Breckenridge whiskeys have tremendous color. They have a really rich, deep color to them.
And this one especially because of the finishing, right?
Yep. You can really, really taste the snow melt.
This is 92 proof. It says on the bottle at least 2 years aged with undisclosed time in the Madeira casks. This is, though, their own bourbon.
That's very interesting. Yeah. Know.
This is their 56% corn, 38% rye, high rye, 6% malted barley.
That makes sense because the nose is completely different than we just had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the nose a lot.
Yeah.
That's
loving
nice.
this right now. Yep.
Yeah. Nice dark fruits there. And of course, it's got to be the Madeira helping that.
Yeah, it's not really sweet. It's kind of more of a pungent smell.
Yeah. Oh, I really like this. There's almost smoky, but that's not really what I mean. I mean something like barbecue-ish, kind of like a sweet barbecue scent.
I was thinking cedar, like cedar plank.
Maybe?
I don't know.
Or something that would be on a meat, not particularly the grill itself.
Yes, like a rub.
Like a savory smell.
Yeah. Oh, I really like it. This nose is awesome.
An apricot barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I think we like this at the tasting. We sat with you.
Yes.
It smells so good.
Wonderful nose. Best of the night.
I'm getting some grape and cherry, of course, but I'm thinking that's the finish.
On the nose or taste?
Nose.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely dark fruits on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cherry,
delicious.
plum.
Cherry.
I got to go pick a bottle of this up. This is really good.
For $41.50, you can have this bottle. Well, whatever the prorated amount is. Now it's $37.10.
Now it's 35.
Oh shit! We're at a half bottle. It's $21.50.
I get a little of like a caramel corn kind of flavor.
That's really sweet, though.
Yeah, but
Why don't you say circus peanuts and ruin it for everybody?
circumpedes are horrible.
Like that toffee caramel.
Okay,
More
than a caramel corn, a toffee
I
corn
think
kind of
toffee.
thing. Just toffee?
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
sure.
corn too, but I'm
Yeah,
getting
yeah. I guess I'm combining the caramel and the corn just to say caramel corn because that's a thing.
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm getting a little bit of a toffee popcorn because there is corn sweetness as well.
Yeah.
I don't taste the grape as much, but I smelled it. But I'm definitely getting dark cherry, maybe a prune or a plum, maybe.
Yeah, I thought plum.
Yeah, that wine influence. Sometimes we taste some whiskeys that have been finished, and you're like, can't really taste that influence. Here you can.
And we could on the port one that we did on
and that's why we liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Stronger than I thought, actually.
It does taste a little stronger
Yeah,
than
the back
92.
end. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this might do with some water.
I'm just going to add a few drops.
That could be the youthfulness of the whiskey that's burning a little bit.
True.
It's not as smooth as an older whiskey.
Yeah, because this is the only one so far that has said more than 2 years aged, not more than 3.
Well, let me try it. I'll tell you.
Oh, Ed poured more. Oh, surprise.
I'm going to put a couple drops of water on it.
Yeah.
Too
I don't know
much.
that it needed it, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure it needed it either. I mean, it does make it slightly sweeter,
Yeah.
I think. But
Why does water always bring out the sweetness?
Yeah, because it takes the alcohol down.
Yeah.
It's just kind of blocking some of the sweet, I think,
Yeah.
whatever on your tongue
Right.
receptors. Like the alcohol is overpowering, so you're not getting all the sweetness when you
So it
tone
removes
it.
the distraction.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's what's
But
happening.
I don't
there.
think it helped it that much.
No.
I think it took
did,
away some of the finish for me, and it took
Yeah.
away. So now I have to put more whiskey.
Right, because if the finish is what you like and this took it away, then yeah, this is one
definitely.
not to put water on. And it is only 92 proof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were remarking that it tasted a little hotter than that, so maybe water would improve it. But
And
I
I
think
don't-
we're all agreeing it really doesn't.
And I don't think the water took that away either.
Take the burn away.
No, I
Yeah.
put about 8 drops in there. Just really, I don't think it did.
Yeah, I don't think it does either. It's really good.
It's very good.
Would make a great Manhattan because it
Exactly.
already has that
Yes.
vermouth sweetness
Yes.
to it. Yeah.
I got. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like drinking a Manhattan in a way because you already have kind of that. So you just put a little bitters in there.
Actually, put some of the cherry.
Oh, and cherry that Rachel made cherries.
Just the liqueur from it.
Oh, so just the bar spoon of the
so that's like Luxardo,
rich
syrup,
I'm
and
eat
some
my
spices
whole,
or whatever.
I'm eating my whole jar of cherries after we're done.
Just going to put his whole bear paw in there. Just suck it.
I will tell you, I gave Anders his jar when he was working. He's like, "Yeah, Rachel, this is not going to make it home." So.
I'm looking at the tasting notes, and these are theirs. On the nose, slightly sweet and fruity with maraschino cherry and plum.
I said plum.
Yeah. Me too.
Palate rich with maraschino cherry again and plum are balanced by smoky cherry wood, smoked cherry seed,
barbecue. You
yes,
said it. Yep.
and leather, and on the finish, which none of us got, a hint of baker's chocolate.
No, I was wondering if I was tasting coffee in the very beginning.
Oh, okay.
But I was doubting myself, and coffee and chocolate are a very similar note.
I got the similar thing, and then I talked about something else and completely forgot about it.
I talked myself out. I'm like, you know what? I don't know if it's pronounced enough to bring up, and I'm thinking grape and plum for the Madeira finish, so I think I'm like, oh, you're not tasting chocolate. You're all over the place. Settle down.
It has that, like I said, like a smoked thing
Probably
to
Rachel's
it.
cookie.
Rachel also made amazing cookies. Rachel, say again what they are.
Oh, they're bourbon molasses cookies.
Just perfect for the and what is the secret ingredient?
Chinese 5-spice.
Chinese 5-spice, which is what? It's ginger and
anise, and
cinnamon,
and oh my god, cloves.
Cloves. Well, that's only 4.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you on that.
Anise, cinnamon,
ginger, clove.
Yeah, we had it.
Cadmium.
Radon.
Radon. We'll get it. I'll just put a SpongeBob.
3:28 a.m.
So I think there's different recipes that are out there.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the version that I used had ginger, anise, cinnamon, cloves, and fennel.
Okay.
Fennel. That's the other thing I tasted in the cookies that I couldn't place.
Mm-hmm. And some 5 spices that we saw have Szechuan peppercorns in them instead of ginger.
Yeah. But this actually had pepper. Like the recipe
Pepper also
called some fine ground regular.
The cookies are
American
amazing.
You have to cut this, but some have cinnamon, clove, bad.
Bum, bum, ba-dum, boom.
I didn't say.
Oh my God.
Oh, God.
Now I did.
Please cut
Now
this.
you did.
I didn't say.
Now you did.
That's Japanese, right?
No, that's
Oh, that's
China.
Chinese too? Oh.
And it's ancient China right now.
It's a Chinese secret.
Yeah.
Calgon, take me away.
Yeah. I didn't say Tiananmen Square, did I? Or one child policy, did I?
The Whiskey Tangent podcast has been banned in China.
Yeah, really.
It'd be tremendously successful.
Film at 11. No, we don't get any numbers from China because they
Because they
restrict
lock
everything.
it down. Yeah.
Chairman Bell's a bitch.
No, let's just move on to the next whiskey. We have
my God.
one more whiskey, but before we do that,
Yes. Oh, yeah, we have special event.
okay, so it has come to our attention that somebody in the room had a significant milestone birthday.
Last week.
His name is Marty, sitting right across from
Yeah.
me.
He turned 72. He looks amazing.
72 years young.
No, I'm just kidding. How old are you, Marty?
I'm 60.
60, the big
60.
And you guys had to remind me one
The
more time.
real speed limit.
Oh,
We
really, guys?
we got you a bottle of whiskey, or did we? Who knows what this is?
It could
Whiskey
be
shaped thing.
It could be a book.
Thanks so much. I didn't have to do that.
Oh,
I
sure we
appreciate
did.
it so much.
He's so modest. He knows
I
he.
know.
Before you open it, we just wanted to get you one that we thought was a really good drinker that is overlooked and nobody that feels like buying. So go ahead.
All right.
I hope you like it.
Marty's very self-deprecating, just like my older brother should be.
Right.
That sounds great on the microphone.
Getting aroused, by the way.
He's unsheathing it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm unsheathing it. Oh, no.
My God.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the foreskin's getting stuck. You have to there we go.
I thought it was just ASMR.
Gently. Oh, there's the tip.
Ooh, there
There it is.
it's coming through. Oh, Jefferson's Reserve Single Barrel.
Very rare, very old.
I've never had this.
I thought you didn't. It was my idea.
No.
To be honest, I'm taking full
Thank
credit.
you.
Yeah. I said, you know what? I don't think Marty's ever had it, and it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I bought one a month ago and drank it all by myself in the dark in the corner of the room.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I shared it.
Yeah.
But no, it's delicious. I love it.
Thank you.
And the thing is, like, Jefferson Ocean is out and Humid is out.
Yeah.
And the reality, that sub 60 is one of the best bottles you can buy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We did a whole podcast on it, episode 8. It was whiskey versus the Founding Fathers. And this is different than their very small batch. This is their very old, very small batch, I believe.
That's what it says. Yep.
Yeah, and it's head and shoulders above their very small batch.
Wow.
It's fantastic.
The bottom line is we have another birthday coming up on Friday.
Yeah.
In a week. It's
heard
Scott's.
that.
Scott's turning 55.
Yeah, so we're like right in the middle of our birthdays here.
Yeah.
And I got a present for Scott.
Okay.
Woo!
Woo, here we go.
Wait, you've been like talking about this on the podcasts.
I don't get to unsheath mine? Well, I could unsheath mine, but not my bottle.
Please don't. Please don't.
You've never seen it before. It's one of a kind.
Oh, it's got a white tip. Oh, the rare character. Single barrel series from Benash.
Oh.
112.5 proof, 6 years, 6 months. Yeah, it was Taylor, who was on a couple episodes ago, was raving about rare character.
Yeah, so this was their big project. They came out. They have a bourbon too. I've tried both of them, but that I knew you'd want the rye, so I got you the rye.
Straight rye whiskey, finished in Amburana casks, which is Brazilian hardwood.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Which is Scott's fantasy weekend.
Oh my God. Going down to Rio.
But wait, Scott, there's more.
What?
Wait, there's more.
It's a surprise.
Oh, that's so nice.
So Rachel and Marty also.
So I called Ed. I said, we have a gift for Scott when we wanted to see if we could do it on the podcast.
Okay.
And Ed said, well, yeah, I got a bottle for him too. And we actually got something for Marty. So let's make it a whole birthday podcast. So, Marty, tell me what we got.
My daughter lives over in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, and they have a nice little distillery there. So we were actually there last weekend visiting her over my birthday weekend. We decided to go there for a night or two.
Okay.
And we went to the distillery and we did a tasting. We must have tasted, six of their whiskeys, and I think this is the best one that we've tasted.
And
All
we
right.
like
Yeah,
that.
so this is from Bluebird Distilling.
Yep.
I've actually heard of these guys.
Me too.
It's an interesting story. 4-grain bourbon whiskey, barrel strength, 112 proof.
Nice.
Distilled and bottled by Bluebird Distilling, Phoenixville. Awesome. Thank you so
I
much.
hope you enjoy it.
Such a
Hope you
unique
enjoy it.
bottle.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's black and red and white lettering.
Yeah, it reminds me of Peerless almost.
Yeah.
The shape of the bottle.
Shape of the
not
bottle's
the label.
interesting.
Not the label.
Yeah, Bluebird Distilling. So somebody that I worked with went to Bluebird Distilling, and the guy who was either bartending or serving them their flight or their tasting, whatever, said, hey, if you guys like whiskey, you might want to catch the Whiskey Tangent podcast.
Really?
And she's like, I know Scott. Like, I know the guy on the podcast. And so she tells me, she's like, Bluebird Distilling, they listen to your podcast. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
so this is great. Thank you guys
I mean,
so much.
almost as good as my whiskey.
Thank you
Really
guys
nice
so much.
job, though.
It's not a competition.
Yeah,
I do want to say that I'm only turning 55.
I know.
Oh, wow.
What? I'm just, well, he is my older brother.
I know he is.
It's true. I could be 56, though. That would have been a
Yeah,
lot
that'd be
better.
great. But you look great at 60, Marty. You're doing wonderful. And what's great is a bottle for Scott is a bottle for me. So I think that's what's most important. Like, it's the easiest present I buy every year. It's like, oh.
That is the truth. Really.
That's great.
Yeah.
We have one more whiskey to try.
Yeah, one more whiskey.
And my birthday's not till January, so you guys have plenty of time to plan. But anyway, so
The Breckenridge PX Sherry Cask. PX, of course, stands for Pedro Jimenez. This is made from raisins of the Pedro Jimenez grape. It's aged at least 3 years. Again, undisclosed time in PX cask, but I believe it's like 4 to 6 weeks. Proof is 90. I did this last, even though it's lower proof than the Madeira.
I saw that.
Because it won double platinum at the Ascot Awards. So
Then-
Fred Minnick, he's from New Jersey.
Yep.
They know what they're doing down there, and that's their highest award. And we hadn't tasted this yet.
yeah, this is one is a brand new one, and I'm excited about this one. Pedro has never let me down.
No. This is, again, like the Madeira finish.
Yeah.
Their own mash bill, the 56% corn, 38% rye, 6% malted barley.
You can tell on the nose. The noses are almost the same. It's crazy. Tell me if I'm wrong. You better not tell me I'm wrong.
Wait, let me go. And you're an idiot. They should smell a little similar.
They
Yeah.
smell like cousins. Yep.
Oh, they do.
I remember my aunt caught me smelling my cousin. That was a day.
Oh, Jesus. Actually, though, I smell a little bit less of the fruity things, I think. I mean, they do smell similar, but it's not as sweet on the nose.
Wood.
Yeah, is it oak? Is it just oak that I'm smelling? Like
There's definitely oak there, yeah.
mountains? Am I
Sweetness.
smelling mountains? Mountains and mountains and what am I smelling?
God, please cut that.
Too soon?
No. Yeah, always too soon.
Oh, my goodness.
Now he's going to keep it because I'm laughing so much. If we had just not laughed, he would have cut it.
Well, I can just beep out the part, and then no one will know what we said, and we're all laughing.
Oh, no. I will sue you.
You can't sue us when you're on the podcast. You either get sued or you don't get sued.
Ma'am, you are a party to this debauchery.
You're complicit.
Oh,
You're by your presence.
Yeah, you have 14 indictments. Ed has 18, but you have 14.
Better be at least 18.
Oh, gosh.
Has to be at least 18. Or else that's another felony. Anyway, what are we getting on the news?
Are we still smelling? I'm sorry.
No, we're still smelling it. We didn't actually say it smelled like anything.
He needs to pour more now.
I know. He smelled it all.
I really snorted. I did 3 lines of whiskey while you were talking.
I don't know how. You were the one talking.
It's amazing talent. I can drink and talk at the same time.
Oh, shit.
See, Marty's been working this whole
Yeah,
time. He's
yeah.
looking very thoughtful.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what this nose is, and
not easy to pick out what it is that we're smelling on here.
It's not easy.
Everybody trying to please me, baby.
So easy.
When nothing seems to please me. I see you standing there. You think you're so cool. Why don't you just fuck off?
What are we? No idea.
no idea what song we're talking
So
about.
what are you smelling there, Rachel?
Yeah, so anyway. So anyway, Rachel. What are you smelling?
Cedar plank.
I mean, she's been consistent with the Breckenridge cedar plank smell.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know. I think,
and it's there, though.
But I think Ed talked about salmon earlier. I think that's part of the problem.
Are you smelling salmon?
No, but I think when I said to you, but you know what though, Scott?
Yeah.
I think cedar plank was really what I was smelling.
Yeah.
I just have a hard time identifying that smell in my nose, but I think that's what it is.
I mean, yeah, that's there. Absolutely, that's there. There is definitely some fruitiness, not as much as the fruit on the Madeira cask. I don't really know a whole lot about Madeira versus sherry and the whole thing. I know that this was in a 100 years old Solera barrel that they got from Pedro Jimenez winery or wherever it was.
I tasted it. It's
Okay.
delicious. I'm just going to say that.
All right, we're failing on the nose, I think is what we're saying.
The nose is hard.
Besides cedar plank, which is Rachel's tasting note, but nosing note.
I didn't get a lot of the nose. I'm not going to lie. It's our 4th whiskey. There's a chance our noses are just a little shot out. It happens sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
What did the Breaking Bourbon have on the nose? Let's give us that.
Just the nose? Yeah. Okay. Raisins and spun sugar burst out and are nearly cloying, balanced by worn leather.
All right, leather, cedar.
The nose?
That's the nose.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's...
See, that's
Raisin could be the kind of
I tell you now,
sweetness I
that's
was
not a
thinking.
great nose either. So he didn't get much either for a professional.
Spun sugar. I mean, what the hell's that?
Cotton candy.
Cotton candy?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, this is nice. This is not as sweet as the Madeira. I will say that the hint of baker's chocolate that they had on the last one, I actually kind of taste on this one.
Yeah, I taste it too.
But it's quite good.
You know what I find with this? It's not a complaint, but I get the palate, right? And then it drops off like quick.
Yeah. It does have a quick finish.
Yeah,
It does, but it's so good.
It's good, but it just disappears really quick.
Well, it's a 90 proof and all, and I love this. This is my favorite one that's not 105. So I'm going to have to taste the 105 a little bit because you know I do. Right. But right now, this is delicious for me. I love this.
It is. It's very good. Yep.
It's good. So to your point, Marty, where you said it dropped off, it does, and it leaves a kind of just a little watery quality in your mouth afterwards. It empties away as if it was too proof down.
Yeah.
Like almost like this should be 92 or maybe 94. Why is it 90? I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's interesting. Can I have the 105 real quick in front of
Oh,
Marty?
it's right. I got it.
Yeah, but the flavor itself is... I'm with that. This or the 105, flavor-wise.
Yeah, I want to taste the Madeira one again because I'm kind of missing some of the sweetness that had, contrary to what I don't like as much as Ed usually does.
2,000 years later.
So my memory of it is sweeter than the actual taste of it. Isn't that weird?
The finish on the 105 is so much longer than everything else we've had. The Pedro Jimenez is delicious.
And now, so now tasting them side by side, the PX and the Madeira, I do like the PX better.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a little deeper. It just has a little bit more complexity than the Madeira.
Yeah.
Yep. Isn't the 105 such a contrast?
Yeah, and it's definitely got more going on.
It just keeps going.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting how they proofed them in the lower 90s. What would these taste like at 105?
Yeah.
Like,
what would a cask strength like Pedro Jimenez taste like?
Yeah.
It's exciting to wonder. Maybe they need to do like a little larceny barrel proof.
And maybe they will.
Maybe quarterly release some of them, you know? Maybe.
So let's do the rest of the tasting notes. These are from the Whiskey Wash. On the palate. What is this? Oh, a fruity kick.
It's so loud. It was so funny. It's such an Ed thing to do. I know. I'll definitely have one.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Always time for those cookies.
That's where editing comes in. Yeah. That's why it begins with Ed. A fruity kick similar to punch, like fruit punch, starts off here, deepening into fruit leather and baking spices.
Yeah. Okay.
And the finish is creamy and warm, but fairly quick.
Oh, there we go.
Man, we killed that.
Like Ed in college. Creamy and warm.
Yeah, and then in later life, quick.
What, creepy and warm?
Creamy and warm.
Or they say creepy and warm.
Well, okay. Creepy and warm.
Yeah. Think that the cookie would get not better than each cookie. Each cookie's better than the last cookie.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, it's like a really good whiskey. The more you drink it, the better it gets.
God.
Those cookies are crack.
Yeah,
lady.
I need 10
Sis.
a week. Rachel, I'm going to need 10 a week delivered.
I have like 2 dozen frozen.
10 a week delivered if Marty doesn't leave here tonight.
Like hostage. Like one of those, like, put the cookies in the mailbox.
Or it gets the hose again.
Right. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh my God.
All right, so let's go quickly through the other Breckenridge whiskeys that we haven't tasted tonight.
Like the port finish one.
Right. So the regular bourbon, so not the reserve bourbon that we had tonight.
Oh my God.
Is the same thing. 86 proof, the Kentucky, Tennessee in their own, but their regular bourbon won double gold at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition and gold at the Ascots. Yeah. MSRP's for about 50, but I think we saw it over there for like 40.
I think they were giving it away. Like if you backed your own groceries, you got like a free Breckenridge regular.
The port cask that we talked about before that we did on episode 16.
Lovely.
That's aged at least 3
but
years.
I bet you that's very similar to the Madeira and the Pedro Menace.
It is. It's 90
Yep.
proof. It's their whiskey
It's their stuff, yeah.
finished in the port. It won platinum at the Ascots this year.
I'm not surprised because it beat Angel Envy, which is overrated to Scott and I, and always has been.
Yeah. The next one is a rum cask. That's a blend of 4 to 10 year whiskeys.
Did we see that today?
That we had at the
The local.
tasting.
Oh, yeah.
It's not disclosed, but it was finished in their own rum cask. So they make rum.
Oh,
And so they
okay.
finished in their own rum
that's good.
cask, which is
Nice.
cool.
Cool.
90 proof. Their mash bill, it won platinum at the Ascots also. They have a single barrel, which is whiskeys blended up to 10 years, 90 proof, same mash bill, $60. Something called Dark Arts Malt Whiskey, which is 100% malted barley, the crystal malt that I mentioned.
Yeah.
Up to 10 years again, 92 proof. I don't know if they make it anymore because the only price that I could find was on the secondary and it was $350.
Okay, all right.
And then something called Two Clans Whiskey that also won double gold at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. There's no age statement. It's 102 proof. It is their own malted barley blended with a Highland Scotch.
Clams?
Two Clans.
Oh,
Clans,
clams.
yeah.
Okay.
$75. And they have some limited editions and they have a lot of stuff.
Let me ask you a question about.
Yeah.
Okay, Breckenridge, they make other stuff besides bourbon, right? They make
do.
vodkas, they make gins.
They do.
How do you think a distillery that divide their attention to
Yeah.
all these different spirits as opposed to just somebody that makes bourbon?
Yeah.
Like maybe they don't want to spend the time to age something. We're just going to make this.
I
We're
was
going to
thinking
get it
the
out
same
the
thing.
door. You know, that's what we're there to sell. We're
Checking
going to sell
boxes.
vodka. You know, we're going to
A
sell
lot of distilleries make gin and vodka because it's very easy to do and you
Yeah.
don't have to
Yeah.
age it to get capital so that they can create whiskey and age it
Right.
and rick houses
Makes
and
sense.
barrels
For example,
and stuff.
Barton's, the 1792 people, they have some very basic, well-level vodka and gins.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That they sell to, once again, raise capital to put into their bourbons.
Oh, makes sense.
But
Yeah.
for Breckenridge, I'm assuming that the reason everything's 90 is because they're trying to stretch the product as much as they can because they
Yeah.
can only produce
Yeah.
a small amount. 20 barrels a day is not a lot for a
For
nationwide
a bourbon,
brand.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to take a look at what Heaven Hill or Beam Suntory or Jack Daniels is putting out in a day? So if for them to get a market share, they have to get as many bottles. So they take this until it tastes as good as possible at 90.
Yeah.
94 is better, but we can get 100 more bottles if we do 90. So let's do 90. That's just
Yeah.
reality
Economics.
of their business,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think they would probably have to not sell as much for 3 or 4 years to get
Right.
their whiskey up unless they expanded.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right.
I think this was a great
This
episode.
is awesome.
I want to really
Very good.
thank Marty and Rachel for coming out on their first American whiskey deep dive episode and bringing the cookies. We tasted 4 delicious Interesting expressions from Breckenridge.
And overall, very good for its age and proof.
Yeah. I mean, it's very affordable.
Yep.
So it's one thing if you do a 3-year whiskey and you try to charge me $70. They don't do that.
Yeah.
They charge a very affordable whiskey for a very good flavor.
Yeah, we've tasted a bunch of quick taste and stuff. It's like, why are they charging this much for a 3-year?
Right.
That they sourced.
Right. So if you have a chance to check out the Madeira or the Port or the Pedro Jimenez finish or maybe the 105 high proof, I say go ahead. Last thoughts, Marty?
I'm definitely going to go out and get the high proof. I'm going to put that in my cabinet.
Yeah.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Rachel?
Yes, and I want to try in a cocktail.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite, Rachel, of the ones that weren't the high proof?
Yeah, I like the PX.
Yeah.
The Pedro Jimenez?
Pedro Jimenez.
I'm not going to embarrass myself.
Say it.
I like Peter's.
Say it.
She likes Peter X.
Yes, Peter X. Yes.
She's like Charles Xavier.
Sarsaparilla.
Professor X. PX, Professor X from the X-Men. All right, so, Scott, anything?
No, that's it.
Hey, Breckenridge, thanks so much for working hard up there in the frozen tundra of the Rocky Mountains. I was just out in Portland, so it's like we're best friends. So for the Whiskey Tangent Podcast,
Nowhere
I'm
near
Ed.
each other. I'm Scott.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Marty.
Go check out some Breckenridge. Cheers, everybody.
Later.